Hi. Happy Tarot Tuesday. I've been kind of gone for like a whole week. Oopsies, sorry. It's been a mix of technical difficulties and no desire to present myself to the public last week, but we're back onto it. Let's tune in here. Make sure that everything is going correctly, then we can get started. Alright, hello, welcome. It is another Tarot Tuesday. Last week, our tarot cards were the Eight of Cups, followed by, the Seven of Michael, which was all about being in that uncomfortable position where you realize you're not where you want to be and you are where you are because of yourself. There's nobody else to blame because our entire lives are just projections of, the kind of internal stuff that we got going on inside of ourselves. So the Eight of Cups was kind of recognizing that what you're searching for cannot be found external to you. You have to actually make an internal shift, turn inwards and become introspective in order to find your true self, So, this week's card, I guess you could say, is the aftermath of that, hopefully, if you made the right decisions this week. Let's start with the angel card first. Our angel card for this week, which will be the archangel that's going to be guiding us and just kind of in the shadows, watching us make very important life decisions. This week, our angel is going to be the Archangel Raphael. Look at him. We literally see Archangel Raphael. He's bursting out from the ocean, the sea. And he's got like the Poseidon's pegging rod or whatever the heck that is, or whatever he uses that for. It's none of my business. He's coming up from the water, and then actually, I wonder if Archangel Raphael I think Archangel Raphael is actually the angel behind him with the wings. That actually makes a little bit more sense. And I think that the sky is just kind of harnessing the energy and the power of Sir Raphael. And it says, yes, it is safe to trust. The ability to accomplish many things at once. Follow your creative passions. There's a little bit more information about this angel card. Archangel Raphael is all about healing. He is the angel of positive like a change in the manifestation, positive change. So he's probably my favorite archangel, personally. King of Raphael. And he's the king, so like, holy cow. It's different from just any of the other. And it says, yes, it is safe to trust. You have the ability to accomplish great things at this time. Indulge any longing that you may have in regards to creating art or music. Lend a hand to those around you who are in need of assistance. Expect to meet someone that you can really trust who is driven by their heart. Wise and heartfelt advice really does make a difference. People, this is a warm and generous person who understands the human nature. This is someone who takes romantic relationships and close friendships very, very seriously. a humanitarian. They're honorable, refined, highly regarded, and additional meaning of this card could mean a patron of the arts, a peacemaker, a father or father figure, and interests in the healing arts. Very, very, very interesting, right? So, I think this is kind of a little bit of confirmation from last week. You know, how the Eight of Cups is all about, you know, kind of after being super disappointed with what you've thought that life had to offer you, you've turned around and you've started taking steps almost into the unknown. So it's very uncharted territory. And this card, following up to that, is this sense of it's okay to go completely in, like dive in. Even though it's in the pitch black, like, know that you can trust. Know that Archangel Raphael is there to catch you if you fall. Maybe. Hopefully. Maybe not. We'll find out, right? Anyway, other than that, we have our tarot card of this week, which is the main one. La la la. And what is it? Ha la la, it is the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Whoop. Look at it. What do you see? What part do you like the most? Take a really good look-sees. And just tiny bit of general information about this card before we dive into the illustrations is this is an Earth card. Pentacles. Right off the bat, we know that Pentacles are in association with the Earth signs of the zodiac, which are Taurus, Capricorn, and Virgo. And I tried to guess which one of the zodiac signs this was most associated with, and I thought it was going to be Capricorn, which now I'm realizing how ignorant that assumption was, because it's actually Taurus, and now that makes a lot of sense. Actually, now that I'm just like kind of thinking about the general theme of this card. So it is Earth sign. It's all about Taurus, and Tauruses are all about creating stable foundations. They like their comforts. They like to feel safe and warm and secure and kind of laze around. They like lounging around and just resting in their comforts and comfortable, relaxing things, usually. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about a Taurus. And a Taurus in their shadow can kind of be, you know, on the lazier side. They can be very, very stubborn as well, too. But with this card, in general, I feel like most of this card, even, I don't know so much about what it happens when it's reversed, because we got it upright this week. But overall, I really don't think there's much shadow in this card at all, really. It's the number 6, obviously, because there's 6 pentacles. And in a yes or no reading, it's a yes. Whee. And it is ruled by the planet of Venus, which is the planet of love. And in order to give love, you have to have it already within. Which I think is kind of the undertone of this entire card. So, just a little prequel of that. They can be lazy. Yes, Taurus people can be. As far as the illustration goes, there's really not, like, other than what's completely obvious to you, there's not much going on in this card, honestly. We see a wealthy man. He is, because of the way that he is dressed, it is kind of hinted that he's almost in a line of royalty. Like, he's actually not just a wealthy man, he's actually quite up there in the hierarchy, as you would say. And he's dressed in these red robes, symbolizing, you know, his high status. And in his left hand, it's kind of hard to see because it's not focusing very, very well, but kind of like how we got with the Justice card a couple weeks ago, he's holding the balance symbols in his left hand, and they are completely, which I believe represents that, you know, he has completely mastered this ebb and flow of giving and receiving. They're in complete harmony. There's not too much of one thing and not enough of another. He has balanced the art of that. His right hand is dropping a couple of coins in front of these two, like, homeless, you assume that they're kind of homely, beggar type people who aren't as fortunate as him. They're right there at his feet. One is accepting the coins that the guy is bestowing upon him, while the other guy is just kind of looking up at that guy, at the giver, with just kind of like amazing eyes of like, oh my gosh, this guy's so generous, like, look at how kind he is to have gifted me, look at that, and I just got gifted, thank you. So other than that, there's really not much else going on in this entire card. There's the 6 pentacles right above him, and the pentacles are kind of associated with the way that we create material wealth, the way that we manifest things into existence, and how we exchange that, how we have those kind of transactions with other people. So, for the majority, I feel like it's a positive card this week. I don't really think it's anything super serious. Maybe it's just like a nice week where we can kind of be mindful, of course, of, you know, our karma and that which we give to the world is what we receive. So if we want something different to start coming back to us, then we have to start giving out different things, right? So the key words for this card are giving and receiving, of course. Sharing our gifts, sharing our values. Yeah, I feel like that's the big thing of this card this week. Finding the best way. We all have resources. There's always something that every single person is a genius at in their own way. And humanity could actually, if we all decided to come together with all of our gifts and, you know, just implement the things that we're best at, that's when you realize how strong we are as a community, when we all come together and put our gifts on the table and work hard at the things that we know that we're just naturally good at. It creates this amazing system where we're all, you know, connected to each other, and we're kind of in a way dependable on each other in order to create a functional society, which is the way that things, you know, should be and could be if we chose to go about it in that way. And I think that that's the manifestation of what happens. That's what this guy is taking place in. He's recognizing where he has been blessed, and he's sharing his overflow of blessings, not because he thinks that the beggars can't produce it themselves, And so he's just kind of like, here, I see where you don't have this, so I'm going to just give it to you. He doesn't do it out of lack. He just does it because he's in the spirit of giving, you know? He doesn't look down on them and see them from a vantage point of, I'm higher than you. Not at all. He's just in that space of, I feel inspired to give. If that makes sense. It's a completely different energy. Generosity, support, having gratitude, making donations. Another thing was employment. Recently, if you got like any kind of like new employment going on, which is really funny for me. Prosperity, control, being valued, well paid, and rewarded. Ooh, rewarded. Yeah, those are the very key words for this card. I feel like Pentacles and Swords are probably the cards that I have the hardest time resonating with, because they don't really deal with, you know, just like really deep emotional experiences, which it can be. Honestly, it could be. There's different ways that you could perceive this card, obviously. But generally, in this card, for this week, on a very, very, very general basis, what this could mean for us this week is that you just may find yourself feeling more secure, maybe, in what you do. Maybe you have found something, there's been something new, a new opportunity has invited itself, and you're allowing yourself to relax a little bit and remember that you don't have to be, you know, in resistance and feel like you have to fight your way for everything that you want, you know? It doesn't have to be this horrible, continual struggle that never really gets you anywhere you want to go, which is exactly how we felt last week in the Eight of Cups. It was this guy who was like, no matter what I do, I just keep pulling up the cup, and, you know, I'm never satisfied with what I like. With this card, I feel like it's kind of beautiful when you actually look at it that way, is from that standpoint to this standpoint, because this standpoint is this guy actually recognizing that he's like, if I really want something, what is it that I'm searching for? And the only way that I'm really ever going to receive it is if I am, once again, a vibrational match to it, and I am admitting something that can attract that back to me, right? So it's kind of the realization of that is I have to give it first. I have to, you know, be the one to open the door. Maybe? No? Who knows? Let me know what you think. This could just mean this week that you or someone in your life right now may be starting to think a little bit more about how to be more self-sufficient. Not in a sense of I just want to be alone and I don't want to ever have to depend on anybody, but I think especially in this present moment now is we're discovering, hopefully, some of us, I know I am, so it made sense when I read this. It says that you or someone in your life are thinking about trying to become more self-sufficient in terms of not just your financial support, but just like your entire support. Like you're not dependent on a corrupt system to stay alive, type of thing like that, if you know what I'm saying. So if you're doing that, congratulations, and that's awesome, and I'm so proud of you. I'm doing the same thing. Maybe this week you find yourself, it's easier for you to accept your gifts and share them with other people. One thing that someone said something about with this card, which was a little out of the blue, that nobody else really talked about, was a sense of being aware if there is a dependency. and I feel like this might make more sense if this card were in reversal, but you look at the way that these beggars are looking at this wealthy man from such a degree of like, oh my gosh, you have everything, you know? Maybe I could just come to you whenever I'm in need of money, or whenever, you know, I need something, because I don't believe that I can really produce it on my own. Therefore, I have to depend on you to provide it for me, right? And so that could be the shadow of that. So maybe this week you might uncover some truths about how you're a little bit more dependent on maybe people or substances or external things to give you a sense of relief or a false sense of security. But for the most part, I don't really think that's going to be the overtone of this week. I think it's going to be a lot more positive. So, gratitude for your income. That's another thing with anytime you want something, or anytime you're in the process of trying to create an experience or manifest something, gratitude is the secret formula. If you've ever done it, you know exactly why, because gratitude is the energy of noticing a manifestation of something that is already manifested and cherishing it, seeing it for all of its value and milking it for all of its worth. And in doing so, your brain and your heart is just beating this energy of yes, 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 I would love more of this. And you can be grateful for things before you even actually have them. You can just be grateful for the energetic potential of something, right? And when you do that, that's when you start turning on the parts of your brain that really can create something out of nothing. And your body doesn't know the difference between a visualization, a really vivid thought, and an actual physical experience taking place. So your body is actually believing in that moment that you have something. So if there's something this week with this card of this guy, you know, in order to have it and receive it, you gotta give it first. So really think about, how can I, from where I know what I want, from where I am now, how do I think I will feel when I get whatever it is that I want? When I get that huge lump sum of, you know, millions of dollars or whatever the fuck, whenever I get that dog, or whenever I get that crazy girlfriend, whatever you want, that thing, like, you think that the having of it is what's finally going to make you feel whole, right? But what you're actually wanting is, you want that sense of wholeness, which can actually be produced in your mind and body in the right here and now, just by sitting and visualizing you having that experience. And you don't even actually have to have it. That's how you make it happen. So, this guy is in the realization of that. Or I don't even know if he's in the realization of it. This guy has been practicing it for long enough that he is literally like a very, very wealthy man. So he's understood the laws of this, and he's planted so many seeds for himself that he doesn't even really probably have to even think about it or worry about it anymore, because he understands that it's a natural thing that happens when you let yourself give, when you feel inspired to give, and receive when someone's gifting to you. Right? Okay. So, sharing your gifts too. The biggest thing about this is finding your gifts. Find the thing that makes you feel like you contribute. I keep thinking about love languages for some reason, and I don't really know why, but acts of service, ways in which that you can just show that you want to contribute to the ease and the flow of other people's lives so that everything can, flow in order, if that makes sense. So, love reading. If you're coupled this week, it's a good element. It could mean that you have found somebody, you're with somebody, or you are in your own relationship, somebody who is kind and generous, and you guys have a very symbiotic relationship. It's the giving and receiving. You guys fill each other's cups. Nobody does something that's against the best interests of the other person, because you guys are in unison together, and such a beautiful flow when you have something like that. And honestly, I didn't really have anything to say about it. Like, this week could just be a really wonderful period of prosperity for you and your partner, whatever that looks like. You guys could just feel like rich in love, and you guys have all this time to just spend with each other and bask in the glory of each other's presence. Yeah, didn't really say anything much else about relationships. Even if you're single in love, you may meet someone who will exude these qualities of great generosity and just wanting to give and have that generous heart. Or this is an invitation for you to, for all of us, I think this goes for all of us, is to find ways that we can once again reopen our hearts. And in doing so, opening it up to the universe and the unknown, and recognizing that nothing amazing ever comes to us expected. The greatest things in our lives are such great surprises, and we are not even aware that it was going to happen, or that you were going to end up on this path and meet a certain person because you made the specific choice. Like, you're not supposed to know. It's supposed to be some kind of a crazy unknown journey. And with that, it takes a lot of courage. You gotta have a little bit of an open heart, which can be hard if you've been wounded anywhere. But it's only then can you make room for a completely new experience to unfold. Money and career, which is probably the main theme around the Pentacles for the most part, could mean that you're experiencing new employment, a new job opportunity, or maybe you've already taken a new job and you're currently, on your first couple of days of work and you're trying something new. It's a good omen for if you are wanting to start searching for jobs. Consider this week a good time to really start putting some feelers out there and seeing what kind of stuff you can bite on. Somebody who's a little wealthy might be generous enough to gift you something. Maybe they gift you some monies. Maybe they gift you in an object. Maybe they gift you with their time and energy and their advice. It could manifest itself in any way. Just expect improvement from where you were last week, whether that be, in your financial life or your love life, or generally, I think there's just like a little bit of improvement this week, and a little tiny bit of a break from doing the hard work, the shadow stuff, because it just says to expect rewards for the quality work that you have been doing. So yay, right? A little short health reading. You could experience an upswing of your health all of a sudden, if you've been experiencing a certain type of illness or a certain uncomfortable physical ailment. This week you might for some seemingly no reason, experience either slight healing, like slight improvement in your condition, or it could have just have completely taken care of itself on its own, depending on if you took care of why that condition was manifesting in the first place, that is. And if not, it is a good time to reach out for emotional support from loved ones and letting them know exactly where you're at and what you feel like you need from them, being very open and honest, giving that transactional energy of, hey, this is my truth and we gotta deal with it. And in spirituality, it says that this is a perfect time to maybe begin sharing your spiritual knowledge or your spiritual wisdom with the world, with others, finding ways to communicate the power of, those are my favorite kind of conversations about the things that really, really matter about the world, you know, like true consciousness and positive world change, instead of having conversations about, like, you know, the way the world currently is and all the things that are falling apart and seemingly not working in our favor. Having true inspirational conversations with people about very, very spiritual it's like the food, it's food for your soul conversations, certain things like that. And those are the conversations that are really going to be changing the world at the end of the day. So I think this week is a perfect time for us to examine in our lives where we could find like minds. Like, even myself, I've noticed I have a hard time involving myself in any kind of group of people, whether that be, you know, a spiritual community or things like that. I have a really hard time, and I usually don't even really like the content. But recently, most of the TikTok stuff I see on TikTok too is just like, oh my gosh, this is so toxic. Like, I could have gone my whole life not seeing this and I would have been just fine. But recently, I think 2 days ago, I somehow stumbled upon kind of like the more spiritual side of TikTok, where it's just really people just talking about the truth and the reality of things. It's not anything like super over the top or super, super woo-woo. It's just people who apparently like really fucking know their shit, and they're just having basic conversations about, you know, resistance and how to deal with when you get triggered, and like things that are actually really going to help humanity if you stumble upon this video. And that's really, really cool. Like, I want to be more a part of that. And that's what I resonate with a lot too when I heard that about spirituality. Time to share your spiritual knowledge and wisdom with others, because sometimes we get into this mindset where we don't think that our voice really matters at all, and that we can't really positively contribute to something. We might actually be of more detriment to something if we add our 2 cents to it. And it's a very limited way, and it's such a disempowering way of viewing your own voice. And it is true, there's consequences for everything you do say, and that's why it's very important to be mindful about what exactly you are what you are saying when you open your mouth. But don't ever think that what you say does not matter at all. So, that's pretty much it. Honestly, super kind of boring, right? Not much to these cards. But I think they're really, really cool. And it's a positive message. It's basically saying, karma's gonna get you, bitch. You get what you give. Think about what you want, and then ask yourself, how can I embody this feeling right now? Woo! Cool, cool, cool. That's pretty much all I have to say about these cards. Honestly, we got the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving, seeing the perfection between that. There's no such thing as someone having too much or someone having not enough. It's all an illusion. And King of Raphael, who is also warm and generous, and I feel like he's also kind of the embodiment of this card, of somebody who is just reminding you that you are safe. There's no need to be in that scarcity lack mindset, because everything's falling into place. So just keep following your heart and your creative passions. Okay? Okay. Cool. Well, this was fun. Thank you guys for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this week's Tarot Tuesday. I had fun trying to dissect it. Didn't do the best, I don't think, but you know what? I can do the best with the cards that I am dealt. So, thank you. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. I'm going to do the same. Bye.